Okay. And away we go. Come on in, everybody. It's time to relax. I'm going to do my quick share outs, as quick as I can be anyway. Okay. And there we go. And one post down. Come on, give it to me. Sometimes. There we go. And let's go ahead and start getting the other share outs. I hope you're doing well today. Every day has the possibility of being a better day. It's not always fun, but it's a move forward. We forget that sometimes. I had to laugh. I was at a get my RV fixed or tires put on yesterday, and guy who does my tires, I know the owner, and he and I talk all the time. And he said it's really been interesting. He said they are busy as all get out. He said they can't keep up. He said they've tried, he said they need to hire 6 people, and they can't find people who are willing to work. They'd rather collect unemployment than work. And he said it completely throws him off that people are that way. They would rather collect and not work than work. The thought I had was, I would love to work. And there are people out there that can and don't. It's all about perspective. I don't know, I don't even pretend to understand other people's lives and how they think and how they feel. That's not my place. All I can do is help when life becomes overwhelming. No matter what that means to you. Overwhelming can mean one too many things going on in your life. Overwhelming can mean many things. But that's what I'm here for. Is to help find some peace in there, some quiet. The ability to relax. That's important. It's important to relax. Take a breath. Take a breath. Get comfortable. Once you've gotten comfortable, allow yourself to put either roots or lines down into earth. And once you've done that, start a flow of your energy. Doesn't matter where it comes from. You don't have to recognize it for it to flow down into the earth. And start a flow of your energy down into the earth. And let any energy about being overwhelmed join the flow down into the earth. And let any energy about how you have let others' perspective interfere with your own life join the flow down into earth. Lots of things go on. All the time. And being able to live your life to where you can answer for your life, not others. To where you can say your life is your own. That's important. Let any energy of not being able to be responsible for your life join the flow down into earth. Life is many things to everybody. And it is different to everybody. What life means, what the ability, what you're trying to accomplish. It all has meaning differently to every individual. Let any energy. Hello Patrick, good evening. About not understanding what your life is about. Join the flow into the earth. We do many things. So often, especially when we're young, we don't understand the consequences. Let any energy about regretting things we've done in the past join the flow down into earth. And let any energy about still not being sure of your decisions in the present join the flow down into earth. Things can work themselves through. It is always a choice on how things move. It's always part of your life. Breathe. Take a breath. today I got a bunch of things done so that I can actually relax and do some things tomorrow. Working and living to get things to where you can relax and enjoy working and living is important. I've heard people say, well, I don't want to be one of those people that live to work. You don't have to be. But you need to work to live. And you need to live. You need the ability to live in your life, to figure it out. It's less stress. Let any energy about feeling the need to live and all that entails, join the flow into the container. Society builds up many ideas about what it is and what it takes to live. They're all about, well, you have to have this, you have to have this, you have to do this, you have to, and it piles on. But really, what does living mean? What are the expectations? Truly. The expectations are our own. If we have allowed others to influence us, their expectations become our expectations. And then life becomes complicated. Let any energy about life being complicated join the flow into the container. It's not fun when life is complicated. It's okay now. Let go of that energy. Life has many facets. Bad habits. I meditate, but dang and yes, I want to keep on. Habits are a choice, Patrick. And if they're a choice, which they are, then you just need to make a decision and stick with it. I'll give you a couple examples. In my second marriage, my ex-wife had a daughter, and my daughter, or our daughter, was going against the grain. She didn't want to be potty trained. She was manipulating everything possible to make it to where she wouldn't potty train. And so one day, when we got up, I simply looked at her and said, diapers no longer exist. And she looked at me and she said, yes, they do. They're right there. And I said, nope. They no longer exist for you. And in less than a day, she was potty trained. That may sound simplified, but it's sound thinking. My doctors, back in 1994-95, said that, you need to stop drinking any alcohol because it interferes with your medication, and your medication is not as effective. And I didn't drink much to begin with. I drank even non-alcoholic beer, even though non-alcoholic beer does have alcohol. And so one day, I woke up and I said, you know what? Beer no longer exists for me. I haven't had a drink since. It was a decision. Now, mind you, habits and some things take a little bit more thought, or maybe a little bit more time. But it always comes down to a choice. And you don't lie to yourself. You don't sit there and say, well, I'll just have one more and I'll be fine, or I'll do this and I'll be fine. You're honest with yourself. If you break it and you do something that you said you weren't going to, you say, you know what? I promised myself I wasn't going to do that. And don't beat yourself up, but be honest with yourself. And go, okay. It's my choice. Nobody else's, it's mine. What reason would I go against myself? And that's what you do. Bad habits are the same way. Whether it's language, or it's how you approach someone. You can choose to change those habits. You just have to decide and then simply say, this is the way it is, and mean it. I mean, it's easy to give in to the bad habits. And it's easy to say, I'll start tomorrow. Patrick, 40 years of addiction is hard to break. I didn't say it would be easy, but it is a choice. It was a choice to start the addiction. It has to be a choice to stop it. And it can't be wishy-washy. It can't be, well, my wife talked me out. My wife said, it's okay, I don't mind. No. This is a personal choice. Has nothing to do with your family. It has to be your choice. Because that's the only one that you have to answer to. I'm losing weight. It's a personal choice. I'm getting away from bad foods. It's a personal choice. And you may think, well, that's nothing like an addiction. No, it's not. But everything is a personal choice. I've worked with people with addiction. And the ones who make it are the ones who they're not being talked into it. They make the choice. And I know that because I've seen people who were addicted to alcohol. And they were talked into quitting. Mainly because they were told, you drink, you will die. He was talked into it. He went through rehab. But he was talked into it. He didn't make the decision. Within months, he drank and he died. I've also seen people who've gotten that same choice laid out in front of them. And instead of being talked into it, they just looked at him and said, no problem, I'm quitting. And they did. They had to take steps. They had to go through detox, but they did it on their own. They got help, but they did it. In other words, it wasn't them being coached. It wasn't them being convinced. They just did it. They're like, you know what? I'm going to do what it takes. I'm done. And that's what real choices are. Real choices are saying, this is the way it is. And sticking to it. Because you're not being talked into it. You're not being shamed into it or convinced. You just say, well, you know what? I don't like this. And that's it. Addiction is hard. I knew guys who, drug addicts, alcoholics, you name it. And they quit. But they were still drug addicts and alcoholics. They were just dry. And then I knew some people that were actually done. And the difference was they quit and they no longer let it sit inside of them. They no longer let it be a part of their conversation and lives. Addicts, I've watched them, and they may have been convinced to detox and rehab, and they're dry. But they'll sit around and talk about how they got high. And they'll sit around and talk about how yeah, man, that was stupid. But the thing is, they keep sitting around and talking about it. Someone who truly was done with it, they moved on. They changed the conversation. Completely made a life change trajectory. Found new hobbies that were interesting to them and non-harmful. And they didn't talk about that part of it. They just said, I ended up figuring out I like doing this. And they left out that part of, because it keeps me from thinking about drugs or alcohol. That's the difference. When you make a choice, You actually take it to yourself. It becomes a part of you versus being talked into it or convinced or shamed. I hope that hasn't bored you. Addiction is a hard thing for many people out there. I don't think our government has done anybody justice by allowing marijuana to be legal. You can sit there and tell me how it should be legal and it helps make money and taxes and everything else, and I'm still going to come back to the fact that it's legalizing bad behavior. Am I against alcohol? It's already there and it's been there for a very long time. I think truly we need to regroup and think out how we teach and how we give examples on TV and everything else. I think we truly do. Because the more you get help people become aware, the more people will make choices that are healthy for them. People are still going to make bad choices. Patrick, you didn't fluster me. I have experience with addiction. I used to work with addiction all the time because that's one of the things I did in the military, and I saw a lot of it. And it's not that it's not that I'm on a soapbox. It's that I realized the danger. And the danger is when a person doesn't make their own decision. If you want to give something up, make the choice. It may take rehab. It may take detoxing. It may take months. But if you make the choice, because you are just tired of the way it makes you feel, and you're tired of the way it makes you act, then it's going to be healthy. Then you're not a recovering addict. You're just recovered. Let any energy from any addictions and how they became an addiction join the flow down into the earth. Take a breath. Anytime you want to talk, let me know. Let any remaining energy from this session join the flow down into the earth. And once all that has flowed down into the earth, Stop the flow down into the earth. Bring your roots back into you. And relax. We make choices every day. You can make a choice. That's yours. Exercise that. That's the one thing in life that is yours. Choice. All right, everybody, I will be back on Thursday. Okay, you'll have to give me a moment to go to a different computer, and then we'll meet up. Everybody, I will talk to you on Thursday. I will be doing a meditation again on Thursday on YouTube. Until then, keep it simple, keep it real, and remember to smile. Because you just don't know who you're going to help, including your own self. Thank you. Patrick, I'll set up Skype in about 2 minutes. Everybody else, love you.